to Hardcore Nerdcore, where we're going to be talking about Captain Marvel and her place in the MCU. Is it in the right place? I'm not sure about that. And how in the heck did the Skrulls become our friends? Spoiler alert. Alright, stay tuned, guys. Okay guys, so let's get to it. Just recently, Captain Marvel just came out in theaters March 8th, and what I found was it was an amalgamation of different stories and different plot lines. We had the Kree, the Skrull, Carol Danvers, and even like a Nick Fury kind of origin story worked in there. Hell, we even got a kind of a cameo from Coulson. And so, I mean, if you don't know by now, this will probably be some definite spoiler alerts as we make our comparisons and contrast to the different stories from the comics and what actually happened in the movie. And personally, this is just kind of an opinion of mine, you know, what I think of the movie, how I felt about it, and just my overall impression. Because I'm a fan of the comics, not necessarily Miss Marvel comics, but when you get down to Marvel and some of the roles he's played in different storylines, the Skrull Secret Invasion guys, yeah, I kind of just wanted to give a accurate breakdown of what I saw and what I thought. So first and foremost, when I think about Captain Marvel, her place in the MCU, I kind of feel like the story was out of place. I feel like they should have introduced Captain Marvel after Civil War. Because if we go back to the comics and we think about Secret Invasion and its plot line, we see that it happened just after Civil War. And it was kind of an explanation of why things got escalated into... why things escalated in Civil War. And so I feel like if we're going to introduce the Skrull, if we're going to use the Skrull as shapeshifters and their invasion of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these different places within the Earth, hell, we should give a good Secret Invasion plotline. Because let's be honest, like, I thought Secret Invasion was a damn good story, and to see that on the big screen would have made just the kid in me giggle with glee and happiness and rainbows and sunshine. Okay, let's take it back to the beginning, guys. Captain Marvel was originally sent by the Kree Empire to Earth in order to spy on us to see if we were a threat. He adopted a identity of a recently deceased scientist named Walter Lawson, but occasionally donned his Kree uniform in order to protect the citizens of the Earth, which I thought was really cool, because this basically shows that Captain Marvel slowly but surely falls in love with humanity in a way. So by donning this personality of Walter Lawson, this is how he ends up meeting Carol Danvers. She was in the United States Air Force, and she was the security chief of the military base where Dr. Lawson was working. And so what ends up happening is this is how he gets close enough to save her life, and their whole interaction becomes entangled, because this is when she is caught in an explosion and he ends up saving her life. And this is the origin story of Mrs. Marvel. So the MCU decided to make a few changes, like making Captain Marvel a woman, and the one that kind of really grinded my gears a bit, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of affected the way I enjoyed the movie, was, you know, after a certain point, the Skrull became the victims in the situation, and they kind of became the good guy. And I was just thinking to myself, what? The Skrull good guys? Okay, I'll ride with it. So anyway, if we really want to think about it, like the Skrull, between the Skrull and the Kree, the Skrull have always been kind of the victims in the situation, especially in terms of the Skrull and Kree war, and why it even started in the first place. It's because the Kree decided to go all barbaric on the Skrull ass and kill a few folk, you know what I mean? And that just wasn't the right thing to do. And even the blood that Carol Danvers received comes from Jude Law, Jan Rog. So while I think they tried to stick very close to the source material, some of the changes I think really changes the overall makeup of what the story is and where the story comes from. And so let's fast forward a bit to Secret Invasion. So Secret Invasion involves the Skrull and how they basically come and invade the Avengers. They invade S.H.I.E.L.D. and there's no way of knowing who's a Skrull and who isn't. And the great thing about this is all hell breaks loose. Like, everybody's paranoid. Everybody's looking at each other like, are you a Skrull? Are you not a Skrull? And this is just after Civil War. So things are already kind of heated. And so when I think about the movie, it makes me feel as though they took away the teeth. You know what I mean? Like, they took the teeth out of the dog, which were the Skrull, man. Like, these guys infiltrated the Avengers. They infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. And then, to make things worse, they said, hey, we're the reason Civil War started in the first place. They even had freaking Tony Stark wondering if he was a Skrull. Like, he had this internal thing where he's like, am I or am I not, you know? Which is why I feel like if we're going to introduce Miss Marvel, if we're going to introduce the Skrull, we should have did it right after Civil War. It just would have been great cinema. I mean, to come off of Civil War, to go into Captain Marvel, we could have did Captain Marvel's origin story the right way, introduced the Skrull, had two amazing blockbusters. I mean, if you did Civil War the way you did it, and then introduced the Skrull invasion the actual way it was written, that would have been a great movie. And to be honest, from there, it really wouldn't have been that hard to segue into Infinity War and Thanos and all these different enemies that come from outer space. I mean, from the very first Avengers movie, we were getting, you know, enemies from outer space. So I think it would have tied in perfectly, and I think it would have been a great movie. The Skrull would have gotten the respect that they are due. Okay, so put some respect on the Skrull name, because they had everybody tripping balls. But instead, we turned them into home-seeking, family-loving aliens. Which, I mean, respectfully, they can be that. But I need you to put some respect on the Skrull's name. But don't get me wrong. I think overall, Captain Marvel was a decent cinematic movie for what it was, for a family-loving movie that, you know, y'all can go see with your family and enjoy. And kind of get a segue into Endgame that's coming up pretty soon. But in my heart of hearts, I truly wish they would have done a cinematic Secret Invasion movie. Like, that movie would have been something I think you could have enjoyed. As comic book lovers, as Marvel fans, you know, it would have been good stuff. So, and does anybody find it funny that Miss Marvel and Shazam were coming out around the same time? Like, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to Shazam? Is that a movie you're gonna go see? I mean, I probably will go see it, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, guys, like and subscribe. Hit that button. Let me know what you think. And I'll be putting out more videos. You guys have a good day. Excelsior and Plus Ultra.